Hi. So in today's video, I want to talk about three things. First thing, how much money did I spend to make my Husky 701 Enduro adventure ready? The second thing is what mods were absolutely necessary for me, what were good, and which were just nice to have. And the third topic is, was it a good decision to spend the money on the mods versus buying a proper adventure bike that has been made for the purpose? But before I will move on, I want to thank all of the 700 plus subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much for staying with the channel. I am looking to exceed 1000 subscribers. So you are not subscribed already, please do. It helps a lot. So thanks. I really wanted to make this video outside while riding a bike, but the weather still here in Poland is, uh, I don't even want to talk about it. That's why I decided to still record it in-house, but I hope it will still be useful. So recently I've been inspired by the few videos I've watched on YouTube when people are discussing the topic of modifying the bike versus buying another bike that is already more prepared for the purpose of adventure riding or taking long trips. And that made me think about my choices. Was it the right decision to buy a 701 and then make it adventure ready? Or should I maybe, having now the full picture of how much money I've spent to make it adventure ready, pick another bike? And especially that was a meaningful process when I started this back in January, where a lot of dealers were offering the last year models, for example, of 890 Adventure and 890 Adventure R at much lower prices compared to the ones that you see when the bikes are at the beginning of the season. And I made some calculations, and I want to take you through it. So throughout this video, I will be using Polish currency, but I will also make sure to put euros and dollars here on the screen for you to understand the value of things. But I have paid for the bike 45,000 zloty. It was brand new from a dealership here in Warsaw. And then when I added the cost of every mod that I have made to the bike, it turned out that I spent additional 10,000 zloty, which is 22% of the value of the bike on the mods. And that made me think that cumulated budget of buying the bike and the mods reached a number of 55,000 zloty. And there are a lot of bikes on the market with that budget that I could have purchased that maybe would be a better solution for me. What you can assume is that if you are buying a new bike from the dealer, and you wonder how much money you will spend on mods, then if you would go for my list, you can assume that it would be around 20% of the value of the bike. So now going to the number two, I've made a list of the mods that were absolutely necessary and how much money I've paid for those. And in my top priority list, you will find, I'm not looking now at the screen behind the camera. So definitely skid plate, number one. Crash bars to protect the side panels and the cooling system. Heated grips for me were, yes, necessary, as I often go through high mountains and it gets really cold up there. An aftermarket fuel cap, because the stock one very often just breaks the key, and I don't want to be stranded somewhere far away from home with a broken key. Side stand dongle, as this is also a known issue for those bikes, so already five. Progressive handlebar damping system being number six, and a tower for all of the reasons that I have mentioned before in one of the videos. So seven items, and the cost of that would be around, yeah, almost 8,000 zloty, those mods, less than 2,000 euros. When going for the tier two of mods that were important for me, not the top priority, but the tier below, four things. Both levers, brake and gear shifting lever, as those are too flexible when coming out from the factory, easily to bend, easily to break, just a safety. Then wider foot pegs, and then engine side covers, all related to better experience off-road. And those mods would cost around 2,000 zloty, which is around 400 euros. So yeah, good to have. And my tier 3 of mods, again, four things, four items. Rear rack. If you would go for just the side panniers, then you don't need the rear rack. But I also use the bike for everyday commuting, so a small tailback is absolutely necessary for me. A rack is very helpful. Then double take mirrors, fuel dongle, and the exhaust, which might be a bit surprising for you that this is just tier 3, but that was probably the hardest mod decision for me to make because of the cost and because of that I really could not complain too much about the factory exhaust, except for the weight and the heat. But I liked the sound, so that was a tough decision for me to take. That's why it's only in tier 3. So all of those things would cost around 10,000 zloty. Um, and if I would to do it again, I would definitely start with the top priorities first. Maybe you will find this list helpful for your decisions for the modifications. So finally, was that a wise decision to spend all of that money to modify 701 Enduro, whereas I could have bought maybe a proper adventure machine? So with this budget, even today, it's the beginning of March, I am able to find brand new 890 Adventure from KTM, from the Polish dealer, within the same budget. So 55,000 zloty, almost 56. So I can imagine that this could be a very tough call for many, as the 890 is already prepared to go for adventure. It has a proper wind protection, it has a lot of less vibration, and so on and so on, more power. That is a fantastic bike. But for me, there is still the elephant in the room, which is the weight. And after my years on the CRF 250, I know how important that is for me to have a light bike. So if you would ask me, I would still decide to buy the 701, or maybe today even the Gas 700 that is available on the Polish market for 43,000 zloty, last year models. Most of them are gone by March as we speak, but like a month ago they were still available. So I would probably today go for the Gas 700 and then spend all the money on the mods instead of buying a new 890 Adventure for 56,000 zloty. That would probably still require some mods, so the budget will go up definitely. So I know, hard call for many of you that are trying to decide between a lighter adventure bike and then spending the money on the mods versus buying something that is so-called adventure ready from the factory. Okay, so that is it for today. Thank you for watching. Once again, please give it a thumbs up if you found it useful. This is really helpful. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. That also helps a lot. All right. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.